Hi guys, so today I am playing with pigments and recreating a video I saw, when did I want to say last year, on Dorota Palika's nail channel. It's a Halloween set, but using neons, so I don't know, still a little summery, a little bright, a little eye-catching. And I kind of like it, so I thought I would give it a go. That nail is because I have been playing with the pigments for the best way to blend them, because I don't know if you notice, but sometimes you get like a really solid line, you know, where the colours don't blend very well and they kind of just sit next to each other, which is what I didn't want. So I was playing with them. I did do a couple of little tries. Do you see like there, like the solid line? That one wasn't much better. So what I did on these, this was tried on, I tried this on a white colour lift base. So you know, like if you're in like pop art or something and you need a white base under your colour, this is brilliant for that. But for pigment, not so much. It has quite the tacky layer. So then I tried just with my favourite matte top coat, which I generally use for pigments, but again a little bit blocky, and I threw away the wrong one. Okay, that try was on something else. I think I've just thrown away the wrong tip. Anyway, so this one was done using this. It's a normal white gel polish, but you know, like some brands, like take my CJP for example, that has quite a wet inhibition layer, you know, so there's like quite a lot of pigment and colour and liquid left over afterwards. Not good for pigment, it makes it look blocky. But I have found, and the advice was actually from Tino, Tinovo on Instagram. He also has a YouTube channel. He has a white polish specifically for pigment, because as he puts it, polish can come with a wet inhibition layer or a dry inhibition layer, and you need the dry inhibition layer. So it's not that it's not got a tacky at all, you know, like a no white top coat for instance, it's pure shiny with no tacky. He says a dry inhibition layer is kind of like what this Nail Reserve white polish has. And some of you, if you have tried or if you use Madam Glam, I only have this Nail Reserve and my Madam Glam polishes to compare it to, so I can't say about any other brands. But if you notice when you use them, they do have a tacky layer, but it is virtually non-existent. So it is quite, it's not wet if you touch it, and I'm not advocating going around touching the tacky top coats because allergies, but some of them, like this one and like the Madam Glam for instance, have a very dry tacky layer, so they are perfect for actually gripping onto the pigment powders and giving you a nice blend, which is what I have done there. So rant and explanation over. I will second coat these and I will get back to you. Okay, so this is 2 coats and I am going to go over it with a matte top coat and then wipe it, and I am hoping the pigment powder does not stick to it after the fact. I suppose we'll just have to wait and see, because I've not tried to do isolated nail art with it, just a full nail just to see if I could do it. But if you are following along, you have the option to give it a try, or keep watching, see if I mess it up, and then follow the corrections. I'll be with you. Okie dokie. So I have matte top coated these and wiped them. And on my little palette here with a very long brush, I have some more of the Nail Reserve polish, and I am I'm attempting to do a French. I find it better with the nail upside down. And it does take a bit of work on my part, because no matter how much tutorials I watch, French is just not really my friend. Let me try a short brush. They always say a longer brush will make it easier, but I think that may depend on the person. Yeah, I think that may depend on the person actually attempting to do the French. Now, if you don't have a white gel polish with a dry tacky layer, I have seen, and I think it may have been Dorota's video, but do check out the original. She has playlists. I think it would probably be in the Halloween playlist on her YouTube channel, because it was a Halloween design, but you may have to look, because I could be wrong. I've seen before where she's needed a tacky top coat, a tacky layer. She has used, you know, like a white art paint, like a no wipe one, and I do believe she's mixed a drop or two, literally not very much, base coat into it to give it, you know, a very tiny tacky layer when it cures. But I haven't personally tried it, so I honestly can't say one way or another how well that does. Unfortunately, I am just looking for my brush. So I keep a little gel brush. This is a CJP one. Oh, look at that. Cock up. And I dip it into gel cleanse, and I use it just to neaten up my lines, although quite frankly we do still look rather on the wonky side. We are a very lopsided French. A lot of my issues come when I do try to correct it, because I usually just balls it up. I'm a very uneven person. Okay, so I did a couple of other nails in a French as well, once I got myself somewhat sorted out. So this is your index finger. Oop, sorry about that. And I plan to have a nice big pumpkin here. Now, with this paint being thinner than a gel paint, and with this polish even being thinner than a gel paint, it will probably need more than one coat. Now, it does not have to be a perfect circle, because a pumpkin most definitely is not. So it can be a little misshapen, so we'll just cure that one. Okay, and then this one is going to be a stacked pumpkin. a little hair in my brush. So similar to the pumpkin videos I have already posted, we're going to have a pumpkin here. And one off to the side. There we go. And we will nuke that. Okay, this one came out of the lamp. I decided I wanted it a bit bigger, so I have just pulled it more towards the edges of the nail. You can leave yours as the original, or you can do a second layer like I have and just go over it and enlarge it a bit. Okay, they're curing. I have just moved my brushes, and what I'm going to be using is this. It's not very big. I think it literally cost me £1, if that, from Savers. Nice and cheap. I have seen some people use different brushes for their pigments, like these ones with the blunt edges. But I actually use those for other nail art, so I'm just going to be using my cheap fluffy brush. So I have colours that are similar, so I have a pink, darker orange, and then a lighter orange. Yes, those are the shades I'm going to do. Oh, they don't look in the right order. There we go. So you're also going to need some lint-free wipes. These type will work. This type is better, or you can use some tissue. Because what I've found is to stop the join line as much. I mean, you can still see it a little, but is to mix the two colours together as you move colour. So say I start with this one down at the bottom, I then mix a bit of this and this on the tissue, then do a thin line of that, then go in with that, and then I mix a bit of that and that, put that there, and then the pink, and it seems to just flow a lot nicer. There quite probably is an easier way and a quicker way to do it, to be perfectly honest. I have just found that that way is the one that works better for me personally, and it is all about what works best for you. I've just dumped, that's what you get for not putting the lids on your bottles properly. Righty ho. Go big or go home. Right, we'll start with the big one. So let me just, I'll have my lids. I find you get enough powder on some of these lids that you can just work on the lids just as easy as you can with the pots. And at least then I can move stuff into view and you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to just go in with the light one and just pat it in a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take a bit of that, a little bit of that, mix them together until I just get an in-between shade, and that I will go in with next. A little more darker one on that, just to darken it out a bit more before I go full in with that one. And then I mix a bit of that with a bit of that one. So it still needs to be orangey, just with a bit of pinky in it. just keep mixing till you get the shade you want, and then go straight up with the pink. Okay, and then I usually just give it a bit of a shuffle together. Okay, and there is my blend. Now, I most definitely needed a bit more orangey pink there. I'll just add a little more. Okay, and there we go. That one is lighter. We're getting there. And then I'm just going to use that same oval brush. I'll sift through it and grab a wipe and clean up all the mess I don't want. Well, I just cleaned myself up and put my stuff away and realised I hadn't done pumpkins. I'm great and organised today, if you noticed. So it is exactly the same as you have been doing all the way across the design, really. I chose these colours, but you can use any colours you want realistically. It doesn't have to be as a set way. As you can see, matte top coating, like I would for chrome, didn't get me far. I am still doing cleanup, so I guess it is optional whether you do that. You could just wipe off the tacky layer, then go straight in with the white. But you don't get anywhere without trying things to see how they do. I have blackjack gel paint. Up next, I am just debating. Now, my gel paint is no wipe, so I can do this straight over top coat and it won't matter. I am going to top coat these in case I screw up, because if I have to wipe, I am going to wipe this away, but I'm going to matte top coat again. If you are doing the next part with the black gel polish because you don't have a black gel paint, you may need to cure a little more often. So for the next part of the design, it's going to be like outlining and webs and things, which are teeny tiny lines. So you may need to do a line or two and flash cure, because sometimes your gel polish can wander a little, and I do not want you to attempt it, be really proud of your lines, and then turn back 10 seconds later and find they've congealed together, because it's horrible when that happens and you always feel miserable. If you have gel paints, use your gel paints. They are thicker and they're easier to get the thinner lines with. The gel paints aren't always cheap, but they do last a long time. For a long time, I did all my outlines in gel polish because I didn't have the gel paints. And honestly, I got along completely fine. But I got my first gel paint in a box, in a surprise box. It was actually this one. This is maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Don't think you can, I'm not sure if you can see that from the camera angle. It is almost empty, but I've had this years. I mean, I use out the pot or I scoop little bits out. So it certainly lasts a long time. And there is a lot of nail bits you can get which aren't always a good investment. Because they're like a fad, or they don't really work, or it's bits you don't end up using. But you will actually use the gel pens, so they are actually worth the investment. I'm just going to put some of these brushes away because I'm not going to need them now. But you are going to need a fine liner for the next part. So you want to get your fine liner and your black gel paint, and just let me give this a mix. There we go. Okay. So these Frenches are going to be spider webs, hence the fine line. And gel polish or gel paint. It's entirely up to you. You can start from the free edge, not the free edge, the cuticle end, and work your way down. Or you can start in the middle and work your way up. My personal preference is the middle and to work my way up. But I know not everybody works that way. So you really just do it the way that suits you best. Really, no matter what I show you is just a suggestion, or it's just the way I do it, even the same with any video really. The way you see one person do something is not necessarily the way that will work for you. It's not that you can't do something or that you're a failure at it. It is just that you haven't found the way that best suits you to do it yet. I've followed quite a few mini nail art courses and tutorials on character drawings and things and one stroke, which I love. Still haven't entirely conquered them yet, but I found that some of the way that people draw just it doesn't necessarily suit me, and I would have started some of the designs in different places and things like that for me to work my best. So you just take them as suggestions and then move them to fit you. So if you are using gel polish after you've done that first line, the U line, you may want to cure to stop these other bits running. And for your downlines, you have options. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting you. And your options are the fact that your lines do not have to be equally spaced, because spider webs are all over the place. They're not equal. So you can move your lines to wherever you want. Right, and remember, heavier pressure with the brush and using the barrel of the brush gives you a thicker line. Using this teeny tiny point will give you a thinner line. And you can do your lines as thin or as thick and as close together as you want. and then just fill them in. Okay, and then for the pumpkin, you're just outlining this exactly the same as you have just done your French and your cobwebs, and just putting your pumpkin detail on. And just adding some pumpkin lines. You can do the full ovals if you want that I have done on past pumpkins, or you can just leave it that way. And give it a little hat and cure. This one will be exactly the same. Okay, the last two are just curing, but here we have it so far. Now my dilemma is I have my shiny gel paint and my matte base. I kind of like this, so I don't think I am going to top coat again, but by all means do either shiny or matte, whichever you prefer, or leave the same if that is an option for you. So give me 2 moments and I will pop these on so you can see what they look like. And we're growing apart from that one. That one was out here and the little sucker snapped. Oh well. Okay. And here we are. So these are painted on a gel polish base. But don't forget, you could paint these on top of hard gel extensions, acrylic extensions, completely different colour. I mean, okay, this is one of my preferred nude shades for working on tips, but does not necessarily suit my fingers. But you get the gist anyway. So don't forget to check out the original video by Dorota Policka. But this is my take, similar. In fact, the nails are also in the same order. But it is a very, very cute design. And don't forget to give it a go. You just need some pigments and a tacky-ish gel polish, or a white art paint, and I believe a bit of base coat, but I haven't tested that personally, but let me know how it goes if you do. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Do not forget to leave me a like if you please, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Spooky season is my favorite time of year, so I have plenty of videos coming up, and if you haven't seen them already, don't forget to check out my Christmas and winter ones from last year. There are some how-tos on the raised blanket style nails and things like that, which are good. So thanks guys, I'll see you soon.